Hex, I feel like everything I've learned about sport is from video games.
Really? I never would have guessed.
I'd probably never go see an actual sporting event live, but when it comes down to the annual showdown of the virtual football giants, I'm right there.
Yes, it's FIFA versus Pro Evolution Soccer.
So many would take a touch and then...
It's a lob. Oh, well taken.
That's the shot. It's a goal.
Tries from the way out. Finally kept the light.
And in comes the header. And it's Frank Lampard for the first goal.
If I was to make some speculation, Hex, I'd say that FIFA fans and Pro Evo fans rarely change their stripes. So this isn't going to be so much of a comparison as more a double-packed review.
True, but this year is a great example of why both sets of fans will be more than happy because, well, both games have such strong showings here.
Firstly, let's tackle FIFA.
FIFA 12 took some big risks last year with its impact engine and tactical defending. You weren't much of a fan, were you, Badge?
No, not really. I didn't think the tactical defending was that much fun, and also the impact engine just made everything go a bit derpy.
Well, if you like a bit of breakdancing out on the pitch. Well, with FIFA 13, the impact engine has been sort of quietly swept under the carpet, hasn't it? I mean, you barely even notice it's still there.
Yes, and thank goodness for that, because it was visually jarring. However, they have kept the jostling and physical tussles, which definitely adds a lot, and that's good.
That's a real tussle for the ball there.
Tactical defending, on the other hand, is still very much in the game, but it's undergone some tweaks, and I think it works now, Hex. I really like it.
Yeah, EA Canada have definitely fine-tuned it. I mean, I always thought it made the defence, well, more tactical, but, I mean, now it just feels a whole lot more fluid, and neither of us felt like changing back to Legacy.
And the shot's off.
Off the pitch, it's bursting with modes and options and ways to play, and each with some form of online connectivity. It's just so slick.
Sort out. Goal news from White Hart Lane. Alan McInally.
It's a goal for Queen's Park Rangers. 79 minutes played. 1-0.
Cheers, Alan.
Yeah, and there's this persistent connection to what's happening in the real Premier League.
The game today, Tottenham against Arsenal.
Like being able to play the same matches that are happening that week with the same weather conditions and things like that.
They've made improvements across the board. In the career mode, in Ultimate Team, with seasons, the new EA shop where you can spend in-game currency to buy celebrations and classic kits is a nice addition. And the addition of a skill mode is great.
Yeah, I think it's my favourite thing in FIFA 13. These are really fun, lots of little mini challenges to test your skill. There are bronze, silver and gold levels, and then further challenges on top of that in everything from shooting and dribbling to long passing and penalties.
Yeah, I couldn't stop lobbing balls into buckets, and it's great that you can practice that stuff in the loading screens too. I've said this before, but I love a game that makes clever use of loading time. This year's FIFA also has Connect voice support, so you can yell instructions at your teammates. I don't know, what did you think of it, Badge?
It works very slowly. it takes so long to recognise what you're saying. The moment's already passed.
Yeah, it seems like a bit of a novelty addition, and when you're trying to make substitutions, it takes so long with your voice, when really you can just pause it and do it instantly with the press of a button. Well, regardless of that though, this is an amazingly feature-rich FIFA. I'm giving it 9.5.
And the whole presentation is much nicer too, so I'm giving it 9.5 as well. Okay, now time for Pro Evo.
Okay, so the last 2 or 3 Pro Evolution Soccers have been disappointments. Ever since the dawn of the HD generation, really, Konami have struggled to put a meaningful alternative to FIFA on the table. But this year, with Pro Evolution Soccer 2013, Barjo, I think they may have finally found their feet.
And we're now underway.
Yes, PES never fails to both delight and frustrate at the same time, but I think this is the most solid PES since it was king back in the PS2 days. The game just feels more fluid now on the pitch. It's a lot of fun caressing the ball around, with no bizarre AI behaviour, just smooth play.
It's come through to him nicely. A shot. Keeper with the block.
Pro Evo seems to focus more on individual players' traits, which gives it a real charm, I think. For example, Messi's dribble is super nimble, but those bigger players really seem to lumber.
I think PES has better looking players actually, at least facially, they're just more accurate and realistic. Especially when compared to EA's players who look like they've been generated in The Sims.
Yeah, it's a shame they just can't match FIFA's level of animation though. Pro Evo is still decidedly quirky in that respect. It still doesn't bother to really hone in on that Premier League style of presentation. Maybe because they can't get any of the club licenses. They still focus on more of the South American and European leagues, and they do that extremely well.
And he has scored!
But they have added some polish in other areas. It feels more cohesive the way you jump in and out of online play in all of the modes. And back to how it plays on the pitch, it's much harder to get a goal in PES, but with that comes a lot more satisfaction when you actually achieve and work a really good goal.
Sends it towards the centre. It's in! 2 goals, they're set fair.
One simple new tweak they've added, the way you can manually trap the ball and control it under pressure, is an example of the kind of technical depth that PES prides itself on. Another is the ability to put more power into a knuckle shot with a double tap.
Ready for a shot, and that is quite glorious.
I mean, these are subtle additions, but they all add to your arsenal and thus depth of play.
If only the training was as good. In fairness, it is more technical, but also more tedious. Some of the controls are a bit much, especially when you're using both sticks and a shoulder button and then tapping pass or something. And unfortunately, football life, or as we all know it, Master League, still moves along at a glacial pace. As a career mode, it still has its charms, building up your team of young'uns to become legends. But it's just such slow progress from week to week.
Man, it's still so old school. I just wish next time they'd completely overhaul the whole game.
You know, you can't beat FIFA for its sheer wealth of content and gloss, but I think PES fans will be really happy with this edition, so I'm giving it 8.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
I'm giving it 8.5 as well. Now, next up, Tiny Power returns. Yes!